My sister looked me straight in the eye and said no. Just like that. No explanation. No apology. Just a flat refusal to help take care of our mother. The woman who raised us both. The woman who sacrificed everything for our family. And in that moment, everything I thought I knew about family loyalty shattered into a million pieces. This isn't just my story. This is happening in millions of families right now. Elder care is tearing siblings apart, destroying relationships that survived decades of ups and downs. And the worst part? Most people don't see it coming until it's too late. Let me tell you exactly what happened in my family. Because understanding how we got here might save your family from the same fate. And trust me, you need to hear this before you're the one standing in my shoes. It started small. Mom began forgetting things. Keys. Appointments. Names of neighbors she'd known for 30 years. We laughed it off at first. Called it senior moments. But then the fall started. 3 times in 2 months. The last one sent her to the emergency room with a broken wrist. That's when the doctor sat us down. Mom needed full-time care. She couldn't live alone anymore. Someone had to step up. And that's when my perfect family fell apart. I assumed we'd share the responsibility. That's what families do, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. My sister had a list of reasons why she couldn't help. Her job was too demanding. Her kids needed her. She lived too far away. Every excuse in the book except the truth. The truth was simpler and more painful. She just didn't want to deal with it. She wanted the Instagram version of having a mother. The birthday dinners. The holiday photos. The feel-good moments. But the hard stuff? The daily grind of caregiving? That was supposed to be someone else's problem. My problem. Here's what nobody tells you about elder care. It's not just about helping someone eat or bathe or take their medications. It's about watching the person who raised you slowly disappear. It's about becoming the parent to your own parent. And it's absolutely exhausting in ways you cannot imagine until you're living it. I gave up my career. Put my life on hold. Moved back into my childhood home. My sister? She kept living her life like nothing had changed. She'd call once a week. Ask how mom was doing. Then get off the phone as quickly as possible when I tried to talk about the reality of the situation. The resentment built slowly. Like water filling a bathtub. You don't notice it rising until suddenly you're drowning. Every time my sister posted vacation photos, I felt it. Every time she complained about being tired from her 9-to-5 job, I wanted to scream. Every time she said she wished she could help more, I knew it was a lie, but here's where the story takes a turn. Because about 6 months into this nightmare, something happened that changed everything. Mom had a good day. One of those rare moments of clarity where she was completely herself again. And she looked at me with those eyes that still held all the love and wisdom of my childhood. She said something I'll never forget. She told me she knew what I was sacrificing. She knew what my sister wasn't doing. And then she said the words that broke me and healed me at the same time. She said she was proud of me. Not because I was the better daughter, but because I was strong enough to do what was right even when it was hard. That conversation made me realize something crucial. This wasn't about my sister anymore. This was about the relationship between me and my mother. My sister's choices were her burden to carry. My choice to care for mom? That was my gift to give. But let's be real. That realization didn't make the practical problems go away. Elder care is expensive. Brutally expensive. Even with insurance, the costs pile up faster than you can imagine. Medical supplies. Medications. Home modifications. Professional caregivers for the hours when I absolutely had to work. The bills were crushing me. I asked my sister to contribute financially. She agreed to pay half. For exactly 2 months. Then the excuses started again. Her car needed repairs. Her daughter needed braces. Her husband's business was slow. Always something. Always a reason why this month wasn't a good time. I consulted a lawyer. Found out I could potentially sue her for elder care costs. In many states, there are filial responsibility laws that require adult children to support their parents. But taking my own sister to court? That felt like crossing a line I couldn't uncross. Instead, I did something different. I started documenting everything. Every expense. Every hour of care. Every decision I made alone. Not because I planned to use it against her. But because I needed proof that I wasn't crazy. That this was really happening. That the burden was as unequal as it felt. Meanwhile, the rest of the family started taking sides. Some relatives praised my dedication. Others whispered that I was being dramatic. That I should just put mom in a nursing home and move on with my life. As if it were that simple. As if I could just warehouse the woman who taught me to walk and talk and believe in myself. The holidays were the worst. My sister would show up with expensive gifts and big smiles. She'd spend an hour with mom, take a bunch of photos, then disappear back to her normal life. And everyone would comment on what a wonderful daughter she was. How lucky mom was to have both of us. I wanted to scream. To tell them the truth. But what would that accomplish? It would just make me look bitter and jealous. So I smiled and nodded and kept my mouth shut. And the resentment grew deeper. Then mom's condition worsened. The doctors said it was time to consider hospice care. This wasn't about getting better anymore. This was about making her comfortable for whatever time she had left. And suddenly, my sister wanted to be involved in every decision. She had opinions about everything. Which hospice service to use. What medications mom should take. Whether we should try experimental treatments. She'd been absent for months, but now she wanted control. And I realized something important. She wasn't trying to help. She was trying to ease her own guilt. We had it out. A massive fight that had been building for over a year. I told her everything I'd been holding back. She cried and made excuses and promised to do better. But I knew the truth. People don't change unless they want to. And she didn't want to. Mom passed away 3 weeks later. Peacefully, in her sleep, in the home she loved. I was there holding her hand. My sister was on a business trip. She made it back in time for the funeral. Barely. The aftermath was strange. My sister acted like we were in this together. Like we'd both sacrificed equally. Like her occasional visits and phone calls somehow equaled my years of daily care. And I had to make a choice. Did I want to spend the rest of my life fighting this battle? Or did I want to find peace? I chose peace. Not forgiveness exactly. Not forgetting. But acceptance that my sister and I have different values. Different priorities. Different definitions of family loyalty. And that's something I can't change no matter how much I want to. Here's what I learned from this experience. Elder care reveals who people really are. It strips away the pretense and the social niceties and shows you someone's true character. My sister failed that test. But I also learned that I'm stronger than I thought. That I can handle hard things. That I can be the person my mother needed even when it cost me everything. If you're facing a similar situation, here's my advice. First, have the difficult conversations early. Don't wait until there's a crisis. Talk about expectations. Talk about responsibilities. Talk about money. Get everything out in the open before emotions run too high. Second, document everything. Keep records of who does what. Who pays for what. Who shows up and who doesn't. Not because you want to weaponize this information, but because memory is unreliable and family members will rewrite history to make themselves look better. Third, set boundaries. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're the primary caregiver, you need to protect your own mental and physical health. That means saying no sometimes. That means asking for help. That means accepting that you can't do everything perfectly. Fourth, consider legal and financial planning. Look into power of attorney, healthcare directives, trust arrangements. These aren't pleasant conversations, but they're necessary. And having clear legal documents can prevent ugly disputes later. Fifth, find your support system outside the family. Join a caregiver support group. See a therapist. Connect with others who understand what you're going through. Because your siblings might let you down, but you need people who won't. Finally, remember why you're doing this. Not for recognition. Not for gratitude. Not even for your siblings to acknowledge your sacrifice. You're doing it because it's right. Because you love your parent. Because when you look back on this time, you want to know you did everything you could. My relationship with my sister will never be the same. We're civil at family gatherings. We exchange pleasantries on birthdays. But the closeness we once had? That's gone. And I've made peace with that loss. Because some bridges burn for a reason. The truth about elder care is this. It will test every relationship in your family. It will reveal strengths you didn't know you had and weaknesses you wish you didn't. It will cost you time, money, energy, and probably some relationships. But it will also give you something precious. The knowledge that when it mattered most, you showed up. My sister refused to help with mom's care. And yes, that hurt. Yes, that changed everything between us. But it also taught me that family isn't just about blood. It's about who shows up when showing up is hard. It's about who stays when everyone else leaves. It's about who you can count on when counting on someone means everything. I was that person for my mother. My sister wasn't. And we both have to live with those choices for the rest of our lives. I can live with mine. I hope she can live with hers.